team foul for Western Illinois, sending SDSU to the bonus. It was a shooting foul, so she'd be shooting free throws anyway. Paige sets up. One dribble on the free throw. First shot off the back iron, no good. In the game currently for Western Illinois, Flores, Dins, Brownfield, Lutz, and Dietz still remaining with their starting crew. On the floor for the Jackrabbits, Tyson, Timmer, Meyer, and Sellen, Page and Brooklyn both. Second shot, no good. Picked up. Western Illinois now on the left wing. Brownfield finds top of the key, Flores. Flores looking left, looking right. Nowhere to go with the ball. Picked up by Tyson, decides to drive down the middle of the lane, loses control. Referee says she was fouled. Sanchez comes over and signals to us 12-21. Paige Meyer picks up the foul. And with that, we will have our first media break of the game. We have 4:51 left in this first quarter. 7-8 advantage Western Illinois. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more SDSU women's basketball on KSDJ.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and some
Welcome back here to Frost Arena. We're happy to have you. When we left, 4 minutes and 51 seconds on the game clock here for the first quarter. 7-8, advantage Western Illinois. Shooting 3 of 6 from the field, staying at 50%. South Dakota shooting 1 of 7 for 14%. Mostly free throws here. Western Illinois gets the baseline inbound. Sends the ball to the free throw line. Dins, top of the key, shot no good, pulled down by Sellen. Paige Meyer pushing the ball ahead for South Dakota State. Finds the way over to Timmer, left wing. Back to Meyer, right wing. In the baseline, Tyson, wide open mid-range shot, a little too weak. Bounces off the front iron, pulled down by Western Illinois. Brownfield drives in, gets stopped at the free throw line. Tyson tries to rip the ball away, unsuccessful. Western Illinois shot from the right wing. That was Thorpe for her first minutes in the game and her first shot. Thorpe, Dins, Meadows, Brownfield, and Dietz in for Western Illinois. Maya Sellen, top of the key, over to Tyson, looking, surveying. Finds to her right, Sellen. Back up top of the key, Brooklyn Meyer. Meyer left wing, it's inside. Meyer, shot is good. That's the PBJ sandwich connection. I don't know, it's a work in progress.
We're working on it.
It's something's there, I promise. Western Illinois from the left elbow. Dins inside, gets out top Brownfield. Brownfield right wing over at Thorpe. Thorpe looking left, right, dribbling with her right hand. Picked up by Timmer, gets it inside to Dins. Dins hands it off to Brownfield as she cuts down the middle of the lane. Shot no good. Fouled by Maya Sellen. That will be Sellen's first personal foul, second team foul of the quarter. 3:31 left in the first quarter. 9-8 advantage South Dakota State. Doing a fantastic job holding Western Illinois to a scoring drought in the last 3 minutes here. Western Illinois shooting their first free throw. Up and no good. Brownfield stays at the line, sets for the second shot, backspin, hits the back iron, goes straight down just like it's supposed to. Tori Nelson now in for the Jackrabbits, gets it off to Paige Meyer. Looking top of the key. Sanchez calls a foul here, offensive off the ball foul on South Dakota State. Turnover to Western Illinois. Setting up the offense, Brownfield, top of the key, gets it inside down to Allie Meadows in the right corner. Pushes it back out to Brownfield, spinning, guarded by Valassen. Off the right block, shot no good. Rebound pulled down by Brooklyn Meyer. Passes up to Paige Meyer, highly contested on the left wing there before she even gets across the timeline. Western Illinois does a fantastic job jumping on top of the unexpected Meyer, forcing the jump ball. South Dakota has the gets the possession on a loose ball foul or a loose ball like that. Next time will be Western Illinois. South Dakota State sets up top of the key. Meyer over to Mathewitz. Mathewitz, Tori Nelson, top of the key. Meyer. Meyer looking, finds Mathewitz right wing. Looking inside, gets inside to Brooklyn Meyer, just inside the line on the right corner, cross court, pass to Valassen. Long three from the left wing. 2:39 here left in the first quarter, 12-9, advantage South Dakota State. Western Illinois still is 0 of their last 4 field goals. Long three from the left wing coming from Dins. No good. Picked up by Paige Meyer from the left block. Driving down the far sideline, cuts to the middle, finds Tori Nelson on the left wing wide open. Shot is off. No good. Pulled down by Brownfield. Brownfield coming down the center of the court. Stops just outside the logo. Finds Thorpe. Thorpe directing a little bit of traffic from the right wing. Picked up by Mathewitz. Stutter step, now drives to her left. Scoop layup. Had not a prayer. Driving between Mathewitz right on her back and Brooklyn Meyer sitting there on the left block. Shot gets sent back to the floor.
And just as you said, no chance driving in there. I mean, the South Dakota State is a good defensive team anyway, but with that many people all in one area, you just don't have a shot.
Driving into the trees here. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. 12-9 advantage South Dakota State. Western Illinois kicks it back out to McDermott, top of the key, dribbling, looking in the white headband. Long shot with the shot clock expiring. Dietz's shot no good. Babbled around on the rebound. Finally pulled down by Tyson. Hands it off to Meyer. Top of the key to Nelson. Fires it immediately to the left corner to Mathewitz. Left a little open. Shot from the corner no good. Tipped off by Tyson. Pulled down by Western Illinois. On the floor for Illinois. Thorpe, Meadows, McDermott, Flanagan, and Dietz. South Dakota Mathewitz. Tyson, Nelson, Meyer, and Valassen. Shot coming from Dietz from the left wing, no good. Pulled down by Tyson, hands it off to Meyer. Long shuffle pass, a little high and a little long. To be pulled down by Nelson, ball goes the other way. Thorpe for Western Illinois, down the right lane, picked up by Meyer. Dribbles out into the right corner, finds top of the key. McDermott over to Meadows. Meadows left wing, picked up by Valassen. Ball up top to McDermott, back to Meadows, long through over Valassen. Good.
That was a nice shot coming off of the left side to tie it up here as we get down within 1 minute left in the first period.
That'll be their third made field goal in 13 attempts for Western Illinois. Tyson driving on the right block, rejected by Western Illinois. Ball goes the other way, picked up by McDermott. McDermott over to Thorpe on the right wing, takes a screen from her teammate, completes the pick and roll, although somewhat unsuccessfully as the ball rolls out of bounds. Good lob pass, just a little too far away, a little too high to be corralled. South Dakota State will pull down or get possession. Gilton enters the game again. Gilton, Timmer, Sellen, Tyson, and Nelson on the floor. 19 seconds left here in the first half. Now 16 on the shot clock. About half a second difference between the shot clock and game clock. South Dakota will probably play for the last shot here. And as I say that, Taylor Timmer pulls from the right corner, no good. Pulled down by Tori Nelson. Puts it back and is fouled on the putback.
They may end up getting the last shot here. Just because of that, they pulled up, and then you get the foul on it, and Tori Nelson now at the line has 5 seconds left. I mean, not much can happen in 5 seconds, but a lot can happen in 5 seconds, too.
That's enough. You only need, 2.2 seconds to get a shot off?
0.2 or 0.3.
Depending on how quick your release is, yep.
Yep.
So it's possible, but you still would have to go the length of the floor here. First shot. Did not connect. Second one is good. Thorpe dribbling around some Jackrabbit defenders. Gets the shot off in time.
That was close.
Yeah, the rim's out. Not quite Curry level here from the half-court range, but pretty close.
Pretty close.
With that missed half-court shot in desperation, that ends the first quarter here in Frost Arena. Peyton Burkhart just runs across, so she'll be checking back in when we come back from the break. We're going to go ahead and step away as the dance team takes the floor. 12-13, advantage South Dakota State at the end of the first.
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NCAA and the...
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it
13-12, South Dakota State with the lead up over Western Illinois here as we head into the second period. Pet band plays in the background. Paul, got some things you want to point out to us?
Just a couple things to highlight here. Usually I'm used to seeing these stat sheets. One player stands out above everybody else. Right now that's Peyton Burkhart with 5 total points, 3 minutes and 56 seconds left on the floor. Everybody else is about 7 minutes or more. As we get set here, Western Illinois back on the floor. McDermott from the left wing. Passes up top to Flanagan. Looking to get rid of it. Finds Thorpe on the left wing. Dribbling, trying to cross over. Gets in front of Burkhart, but not around Tori Nelson. Sends the ball out the back of the zone of play. Since it was off Tori Nelson's hands, Western Illinois retains possession. Off the baseline, Thorpe gets it inside to Flanagan. Taking a screen from Flanagan, back to Thorpe. Thorpe takes the long 3 seconds on the shot clock is good. South Dakota inbounds here, going left to right. Now down 15-13, 9:20 left in the first quarter. Gilton directing some traffic, finds Nelson, back to Sellen, swinging, continuing to Timmer, back up to Gilton. Left wing, top of the key, guarded by McDermott. Timmer left open on the left wing, finds her, back to Sellen. Pulls with 7 seconds on the clock. Long 3.
She's been so good from range recently. It's unreal.
That's her first three-point attempt and her first make today. As the ball gets tipped by Burkhart over to Gilton. Gilton pushes ahead to Timmer, driving into some traffic. Late whistle coming in here from Kelly Turns. Calling for the blocking foul down low. 2 shots coming up. That will be the first team foul of the quarter. Haley Timmer goes to the line here. On the floor for the Jackrabbits, Gilton, Timmer, Nelson, Burkhart, and Sellen, starting squad, taking over. On the floor for Western Illinois, Thorpe, Meadows, McDermott, Flanagan, and Dietz. Only playing 1 starter. Second free throw up and good for Timmer, increasing the Jackrabbit lead here. 8:40 left in the second quarter. 18-15, advantage South Dakota State. McDermott playing a 2-woman game with Thorpe on the right wing. Finds Flanagan, fires all the way across to McDermott on the left wing, up to her teammate Meadows on the left wing also. Guarded by Gilton, top of the key, playing the pick and roll. Gets the pick, gets the roll. Pass is intercepted by Gilton on the defense. 1-on-2, Gilton fakes the pass to Burkhart down the left lane, takes a shot herself on the right lane, and puts it in for an and 1 potential. That will be the second team foul on Western Illinois this quarter. Gilton heads to the line for her first free throws of the afternoon. Takes a couple dribbles, gets set, unable to convert on the and one. Ball gets tipped around by Burkhart, ultimately pulled down by Selland. Finds Nelson top of the key, driving in, uses a screen from Burkhart. Scoop layup, no good. Gets her own rebound, second putback shot, no good. Picked up by Brownfield. Gets in the way of Tori Nelson. They both spiral to the floor. Be called on, a foul will be called on Tori Nelson here, as she will get taken out and replaced by Velassen on the floor for SDSU. Selland, Burkhart, Velassen, Timmer, and Gilton. Western Illinois, Thorpe, McDermott, Lutz, Flanagan, and Dietz. 7:54 left here in the second quarter, 22-15. Dietz driving on the top of the key, runs into Burkhart, hands the ball off to McDermott. Driving to her right, finds top of the key, back inside to Flanagan. Scoop layup around Selland, no good. Jackrabbits able to control the rebound. Three of them around the ball, no Western Illinois in the way. Gilton coming down the floor, top of the key. Passes to her right, Velassen, right back to her. High arcing lob pass into Burkhart, able to pull it down on the right block and put in the easy one-handed layup with mild pressure. Thorpe now sets up for Western Illinois on the right wing. Off the Jackrabbits cursive logo, spinning into the right lane, into Gilton, able to push Gilton out of the way and put in the right-handed spinning, scooping layup. Gilton now, top of the key, looking, finds Selland, gets inside Burkhart, pass out to Timmer, over to Gilton. Jackrabbits good swing, ends up in the hands of Velas on the left wing, wide open, no good. Shot pulled down by Timmer. In a 1-on-3 situation, spinning into a little bit of extra contact, losing control of the ball out of bounds.
So far in this second period, we've been able to see the Jackrabbits seemingly pull away, at least for the time being, 22-17, when it was virtually knotted up about as even as it could be at the end of the first.
Yeah, all the players kind of had even points all around between both teams, and now it's Jackrabbits starting to take advantage of it. Timmer from the left corner, shot up, off the front iron, no good. Pulled down by Brownfield, going the other way. Keeps it herself, takes it herself, splits two Jackrabbit defenders, and puts in the left-handed layup. Splitting Selland and Meyer. Brooklyn. Paige Meyer, top of the key now, hands it over to Timmer. Timmer back to Meyer, quick touch pass inside to Selland, mid-ranger, no good. Pulled down by Western Illinois. Brownfield now right to left. Ends in the hands of McDermott. Long three, no good. A back iron pulled down by Brooklyn Meyer. Hands off to Paige Meyer. PB connection. It's still no. It's there somewhere. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Maya Selland, long three from the left wing, no good. Draws iron and then ends out the far corner.
I'm going to give you a little piece of advice coming from a guy who's done this quite a few years. It's going to just come out randomly, and it's just going to stick after that. I promise you that.
It's the connection. It's there. It's the peanut butter sandwich. I don't know. It's somewhere.
It's something.
We'll get there. I'll say it on accents eventually is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. We'll get to it. Brownfield passes over to Jada Adams, entering the game for the first time for Western Illinois. Long three hoisted by Lutz. Able to connect. Long outside even the men's three-point line here at Frost Arena.
And that was a direct shot, too. Not very high arcing.
Paige Meyer looks to answer, no good. Pulled down, long rebound by Timmer. Dribbling around, got a little line of ducks behind her. Gets to put it off the glass. Ducks, of course, are what I'm going to be calling defenders from now on.
Got it. Make a mental note.
Writing it down. Brownfield, top of the key. Lutz surveying the floor, looking for some extra passing lanes. Finds Dietz down the left lane, guarded by Velassen. Gets a little bit of extra help from Selland. Spinning out of the baseline. Forces the foul on Velassen, blocking foul. That will be the second team foul for SDSU here. 5 minutes and 6 seconds left in the first half. 22-24. Advantage South Dakota State right now. Western Illinois at the line with a chance to tie it up. Dietz, first shot up. Hits the rim about 4 or 5 times. Finally drops. Be her first attempt and connection there. Getting set for her second shot. Backspin up and good. Ties it up at 24 apiece here. 5 minutes and 5 seconds left in the first half. Selland from the right wing. Long pass over to Mathewitz, back to Meyer, no good, picked up by Western Illinois. Lutz takes it 3-point line to Coast and puts it in for 2, 26-24, advantage for Western Illinois. Aaron Johnson decides he's seen a couple things that he wants to talk over with his team. We will go ahead and step away here during this break. When we return, 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first half, 24-26. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to KSDJ Radio.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in '09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and
here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad.
Welcome back into Frost Arena. Pep Band keeping the place nice and toasty here. Taking a look at a couple extra stats here during the break. Biggest lead for Western Illinois, 2 points, with 9 minutes and 32 seconds left in the second quarter. And SDSU's biggest lead, 7 points, with 7:27 left in the second quarter. So what the point is, it's a close game, lots of lead changes. 5 times they were tied, and 9 lead changes as Maya Selland goes down and hits the right-handed floater from mid-range. Selland now with 5 points in the game. Western Illinois working down the left side, back up top, inside. They get it to Dins. Dins bounce pass, no good to Dietz. Rebounded by South Dakota State. On the floor, Mathewitz, Timmer, Page, Brooklyn, and Maya Selland. And for Western Illinois, Dins, Brownfield, Lutz, Adam, and Dietz. Mathewitz drives to the left elbow, passes out to Meyer. Inside to Selland, just offside the right lane. Mid-ranger, no good, pulled down by Western Illinois. Going the other way, Dietz driving down the right side, gets stuck on the right block, surrounded by 2 Jackrabbits. Ball gets tipped around off the shot, pulled down by Mathewitz. Pushing a 1-on-3, stutter steps, gets inside, and forces the reach foul. That foul, maybe no foul, just knocked out of bounds. South Dakota State will retain possession off the right side of the baseline. Page looking to get it in, finds Mathewitz on the right wing, picked up by Lutz. Jackrabbits moving the ball inside. Brooklyn Meyer guarded by Dins. Spin move shot up off the left side, left-handed, no good, pulled down by Western Illinois. Going the other way. Dins passes back to Brownfield. Brownfield working on Timmer. Left dribble, picks up her dribble, looking left and right. Finds Lutz, top of the key. Picked up again by Timmer. Driving down the right lane. Drives into 2 Jackrabbit defenders. Loses control, but only after she gets called for a carry. Forcing the turnover. That will be the 7th turnover for Western Illinois so far in the game. On the floor for South Dakota State, Mathewitz, Tyson, Timmer, Nelson, and Page Meyer. Western Illinois, Thorpe, Dins, Brownfield, Adams, and Dietz. Driving inside, foul will be called on Western Illinois on Dins. Getting a little bit too extra physical with Tyson, sending her to the line. That will be Dins' first personal foul, the team's 3rd of the quarter. Tyson's first shot up off the iron, no good. She had so many of those free throws on the last game that we covered here. Hits the second free throw. Is now 1 of 3 from the free throw line this game for her only points, 1. SDSU now leads 27-26. Inside the Dins, off the left, back out to teammate Adams. Unable to corral the pass and takes a couple extra steps with possession of the ball, called for the travel. SDSU inbounds just in front of their own bench. Nelson to Paige Meyer, going left wing Mathewitz. Guarded by Brownfield. Gets inside to Tyson, guarded by Dins, called for the foul. That will be Dins' second personal foul, team's 4th. Jackrabbits now 1 away from the bonus. Meyer inbounds left baseline. Nelson finds back out to Timmer, right wing. Over to Paige Meyer, driving from right wing to left elbow. Passes it out, gets inside back to Tori Nelson, driving down the left lane. Shot is up, no good. Pulled down, offensive rebound. Tyson finds Mathewitz straight away, no good for a long 3. Tyson's second offensive rebound of the possession. Finds Meyer inside to Tyson, ball stripped away. Pass no good. Picked up instead by Timmer, puts in the shot, mid-range, short shot, no good. Finally picked up by Western Illinois. Brownfield sets up shop on the right wing, picked up by Mathewitz. Driving inside, shot no good. Rebound fighting between Tyson and Brownfield. Ball will go with a stoppage in play. Tori Nelson inbounds from the left baseline to Paige Meyer. On the floor for Western Illinois, Thorpe, Dins, Brownfield, Adams, Dietz. Timmer finds Nelson, top of the key. Meyer sheds her defender, immediately gets inside the left block and is blocked, rejected by Dins off the left block, out of bounds. With the stoppage in play, Johnston makes a substitution, puts Gilton into the game, takes out Paige Meyer, gives her a little bit of a rest. In the game then for the Jackrabbits, Gilton, Mathewitz, Tyson, Timmer, and Nelson. Timmer, top of the key, driving down the left side, left baseline or left lane, left-handed scoop layup is good. Timmer's 8th point of the game. 27-26, 29-26 advantage South Dakota State. Minute 36 left in the second quarter. Shot from Thorpe, no good, pulled down by Tyson. Hands off Gilton down the left sideline. Timmer spinning on the reception. Over to Gilton, top of the key, finds Mathewitz, right wing. Working inside, Tyson ends up with it. Shot contested by Brownfield. No good. Brownfield pulls down reception. The rebound going the other way. Brownfield surveying. 69 seconds left in the first quarter, or second quarter, first half, as the shot gets tipped out of bounds. Western Illinois will retain possession here, making a couple of substitutions, both teams. Tyson leaves and Burkhart enters back in for South Dakota State. Western Illinois has hit 0 of their last 4 field goals with scoring drought of almost 4 minutes here. Thorpe dribbling on the right wing, guarded by Mathewitz. Surveying, looking for some open air space. Tries a lob pass inside, picked up instead by Gilton of SDSU, going the other way. Long lob pass to Mathewitz, but a little bit of a walk before she released the ball. That will be a turnover for South Dakota State. 6 total turnovers for South Dakota State in the contest. South Dakota 1 of 8 of their last 8 field goals. Western Illinois not too far behind, 0 of their last 4. Dietz tries from a long 3-pointer off the assist and hits it, connects. 29's all. 29 seconds and 29 points for both teams.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see the Jackrabbits, as they often do, play for the last shot here, because they have the potential to take that lead into halftime and hopefully use that as a springboard for momentum to get into the second half.
5-second shot difference in the shot clock, game clock, 6, 5. Peyton Burkhart drives into the right lane, left-handed scoop layup, fouled on the shot by Thorpe. That will be her first personal foul, the team's 5th. will send her to the line, even if it wasn't a shooting foul. For the bonus, get a one and done. Maya Sellen enters the game. So does Paige Meyer. And leaving is Mathewitz and Gilton. Erin Johnson wants some taller players, maybe down in the lane, to rebound this in case Burkhart misses. Shot is up and good. I was going to refrain from commenting on her percentage of free throws here until after she's off the line. First shot up and good for Burkhart. Second one up and around, no good. Pulled down by Tori Nelson. Put back shot, no good, but yet another foul.
She gets the foul now.
I refrained from commenting on Burkhart's free throw percentage today because she was a perfect 2 of 2. Hit the second one for 3 of 3, missing the fourth one, now 3 of 4. Worked out. Tori Nelson got the rebound and forced the penalty. Puts up her first shot, rims around and out, no good. Sets up for her second shot. Up and good this time. So 31-29.
2-point lead.
Driving down the center of the lane on a desperation shot before the shot clock or the game clock expired. Shot from Western Illinois, no good. With that, we hit triple zeros here in Brookings. 31-29 is your halftime score. As the teams go away to rest up for the second half, we're going to step away for a minute or two, rest our voices similarly, and we'll come back in just a couple minutes with some halftime stats and analysis, and presumably a look around the league at some other scores in college sports. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to KSDJ Radio.
Club shooting that affected the LGBTQ community. Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back here to Frost Arena on the campus of South Dakota State University. Currently at halftime, 31-29. The Jackrabbits probably not up as much as they would like to be over this Western Illinois team, but there's stuff to work with, especially towards the end. They never gave up. They never let the lead up, and they just kept pushing and finally got out to a 2-point lead to end the first half.
Yeah, able to assemble a couple of small runs in the middle of that second quarter. Hold a Western Illinois shotless, not shotless, but bucketless maybe. A couple times there, a couple streaks of 0 of 4, 0 of 8, 1 of 4, stuff like that. Able to extend their lead, rest their starters a little bit. Maya Sellens only played 13 minutes for South Dakota State as compared to Timmer, who has about 17. Western Illinois, a couple players in that same boat, same kind of boat. Dietz, their starting centers, played 18 minutes. Dins played 14, and Lutz has played 10. So South Dakota State able to rest a couple more, maybe their key players or role players that will help them further down the road here in this second half. Looks like you might be done highlighting.
Yeah, I am, yep. So, as we said, 31-29 at halftime. Leading scorers for the Jacks. Going to be a tie for top place for now. Peyton Burkhardt and Haley Timmer, both with 8. Peyton 2 for 3 from the field, 1 for 1 from three-point land, and 3 for 4 from the charity stripe. Has 1 total rebound, has 1 personal foul, so not too much to worry about in terms of that. Has 1 turnover, 1 steal, and a plus-minus with her on the floor is at 2. Haley Timmer, however, 8 points off of the 2 for 6 shooting, 0 for 3 from beyond the arc, and 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Currently has 3 total rebounds, 1 personal foul, 2 assists, and a plus-minus of 3 while she is on the floor. As a team, the Jacks have 5 assists, 6 turnovers. They're shooting 26.5% from the field. They're 3 for 14 from 3 and 10 for 17 from the free throw line. Now looking at the Fighting Leathernecks of Western Illinois, Elizabeth Lutz has 8 points to lead the way for the Leathernecks. 3 for 4 from the field, 2 for 3 from beyond the line. No free throws have been attempted by her. Currently 2 rebounds and 2 personal fouls, 2 turnovers, 2 steals, and a plus-minus of 6 while she's on the floor. Anna Dietz right behind her with 7 points, 2 for 8 on field goals, 1 for 5 from three-point attempts, and 2 for 2 from the charity stripe. Has 2 rebounds, 2 personal fouls, 1 turnover, and a plus-minus of -1 while she's on the floor. As a team, the Fighting Leathernecks have 5 assists, 9 turnovers, and they're shooting 37% from the field, 6 for 15 from three-point range, and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. The Jackrabbits currently have 8 points off of turnovers. Western Illinois has 8 as well. SDSU has the advantage down low with 12 paint points. The Leathernecks only have 8. SDSU converting off of their rebounds, getting 9 second chance points. Western Illinois only with 3. They're all knotted up at 4 with fast breaks. And Western Illinois has a slight edge with 8 bench points. South Dakota State only has 6. And SDSU, their biggest lead, only 7 points. That came in the second period with 7.5 minutes left to go. That's something kind of uncharacteristic about this Jackrabbit team that we've seen so far. I mean, putting up 119 on South Dakota just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I believe their biggest run during that game was somewhere in the range of 17 to 19 at some points.
Yep. So they have a little bit of ground to make up here in the second half, but they definitely aren't out of it by any means. They have the lead 31 to 29. When we come back, we'll take a look around the Summit League and the world of college basketball, perhaps. You're listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball on KSDJ Radio.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in 09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Decent crowd on hand here in Brookings at Frost Arena on the campus of South Dakota State University. 31-29.
I can do a quick scan. I'll count for you really quick.
Okay, bet. I'll get back to you after
all
this.
All right, yeah, come back to me.
Yep. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some scores from around the league, the Summit League, and the world of college basketball as a whole. We'll start off with the women's side of things. A I-29 rivalry up in North Dakota. North Dakota State taking on North Dakota UND, currently up with $1:41 left to go in the fourth period, 75-64. So the Fighting Hawks pulling out that one so far. At halftime, Denver, the Pioneers, up over Kansas City, two very evenly matched teams, 37-36. Also at halftime, Omaha, the Mavericks up over Oral Roberts, the Golden Eagles, 43-37, and one that happened earlier today, St. Thomas pulling out the dub against South Dakota, 70-64. They advance to 8-13, while South Dakota drops to an even 11-11. Of course, this one 31-29 at halftime as well. Looking at the men's side, only one game currently happening, and that just happens to be the South Dakota State Jackrabbits versus Western Illinois over in Macomb, Illinois, 44-32 with about 16 minutes left to go in the second half. Zeke Mayo currently has 17 points for the Jackrabbits. For Western Illinois with 13 points, Trenton Massner, who's been playing out of his mind recently. He has the lead, also has 6 rebounds for Western Illinois as well. But again, 44-32. It was 39-22 at halftime, but Western Illinois currently out to a 10-5 lead in the second period. Happening later tonight, however, South Dakota taking on St. Thomas in St. Paul at Schoenecker Arena. Also at 7, Omaha versus Oral Roberts in Tulsa at the Mabee Center. And also at 7 in Kansas City, Missouri at the Swinney Recreation Center. Kansas City taking on Denver, the Roos versus the Pioneers. About 3 minutes left until we get this thing started. Another 2-minute break here on KSDJ. When we come back, we'll have the second half for you. You're listening to Jackrabbit Women's Basketball on your student home for Jackrabbit Athletics, KSDJ.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it. Unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
(31-29), the score at halftime. South Dakota State currently up over Western Illinois. And time to check in with Paul. He's been hard at work counting up everybody in this place.
Well, 2002, 2029, 2030, 2031. That's my final number. 2,031 fans.
Just over 2K in attendance here in Frost Arena. Getting ready for this second half. The Jackrabbits in their beautiful uniforms. I swear, I want one. Going to go ahead and hand it over to Paul for second half play-by-play.
On the floor for Western Illinois, Flores, Dins, Brownfield, Lutz, and Dietz coming back out with their starting lineup, and South Dakota State doing the same. Gilton, Timmer, Nelson, Burkhart, and Sellen. Western Illinois starts on our right, driving down the baseline, losing the ball out of bounds. Caused by South Dakota State, retaining possession. Western Illinois, Flores looking to inbound from the left baseline, finds Lutz, left wing, finds Flores back on the right wing. Lutz long right through over Gilton, shot no good, pulled down by Maya Sellen. Going right to left, backwards bounce pass to Gilton on the right wing. Sellen swing inside, Burkhart takes a step, shot a little strong, just underneath the basket, going right to left. Pulled down by Western Illinois, now they're going left to right here. Brownfield passes back out to Dietz. Long three, I don't think she hit anything.
No.
Rebound by Sellen. Takes it up top of the key, sets up the offense, finds Gilton. Right back to Sellen, hot potato. Back up top, Gilton. Pulled down, shot, 3-point, no good. Pulled down by Timmer. Shot underneath the basket. Shot no good for her. Pulls down her own rebound. Finally dribbles back out and finds Gilton, top of the key. Nelson back inside, Burkhart off the left block.
One thing that is always seems to be there for this Jackrabbit team is the vision, the ball court vision. They just seem to be able to pass it all the way around.
I lost track of how many times they passed it that last possession. That three-pointer from Western Illinois comes from the right wing, Flores. She was able to connect, 33-32, advantage South Dakota State. Timmer in the right corner. Jackrabbit swinging the ball toward the left, ends up toward Nelson inside to Burkhart off the left block.
Again, just the vision, being able to pass it, see where the open lane is, know where your teammates are going to be. That's something that's not lost on this Jackrabbit team, and they use it to their advantage.
Almost a little bit of deja vu on that last play. Flores in the left corner, driving in over Sellen, floater no good. Picked up by South Dakota State. Gilton, no-look pass from the right wing to the left block. Finds Tori Nelson cutting wide open. And with that, Western Illinois cannot believe it. JD comes out to the floor to call his timeout, first timeout of the second half. with that, teams will go to their benches. We're going to go ahead and step away with them. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more women's basketball on KSDJ.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in '09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back into Frost Arena here. We're glad to have you. 7:47 left in this third quarter. 37-32 is the current score. South Dakota State has the lead. We have a double-double watch for you. Maybe it won't happen, maybe it will. But we have Maya Selland with 5 total points and 7 rebounds. So she's got more of the stat that's harder to get. So probable there for her. She was close in her last game. Only needed one more rebound, I believe. 24 and 9, something like that. Western Illinois setting up shop, top of the key, driving down the right lane. Brownfield gets off the right block and no good, but that is fouled by Tori Nelson. That will be her first personal foul and the first team foul of the quarter, sending Brownfield to the line. First shot is up and no good. That will be her third attempt, and she has one make to go along with it. Second shot up and good. 4 attempts, 2 makes from the free throw line for Brownfield. 37-33, South Dakota State. Selling top of the key, working it to the left to Timmer. Lob pass up to Gilton. No look pass back to Timmer. Tipped pass back towards Gilton, able to recover. Gilton driving to her left, picks up dribble, finds Selland, fires it inside Burkhart, back out Nelson, right wing. Back Maya Selland, top of the key. 8 left on the shot clock. Driving into the free throw line, kicks it out to Nelson, takes a baseline shot, no good, doesn't hit anything, or doesn't hit the rim. Ball is pulled down instead by Western Illinois. Aaron Johnson can't believe there was no call, as Tori Nelson was on the floor off of that baseline layup. Driving from the left wing, Western Illinois kicks to the right block, finds Dins coming across the paint, guarded by Burkhart, shot no good, pulled down by Burkhart, tipped off to Gilton. Gilton no look pass to Timmer in the left corner, shot rims out, pulled down by Selland. Selland steps forward to try and get the open look, instead is fouled, gets the ball off, shot does not fall, but she is indeed fouled, so she'll be heading to the free throw line to shoot 2. Aaron Johnson has a little conversation with the referee as he takes advantage of the stoppage in play. Makes some substitutions here. On the floor now, Velassen, Tyson, Selland, Timmer, and Meyer. Meyer. Maya Selland's first free throw up and good. Second shot also up and good. 39-33. South Dakota State has the advantage. Thorpe, Dins, Brownfield, Lutz, and Dietz on the floor for Western Illinois. Brownfield inside Dins. Dins out, long pass to Dietz on the left corner, no good. For the 3, pulled down by South Dakota State. Paige Meyer looking to push pace, finds Selland in the right corner. Pump fakes, passes back up top, Myers. Selland hands up top of the key, hands it off to Myers from the right wing for 3. 6:05 left here in the third quarter. 42-33, advantage South Dakota State. Inside Dins, spinning on Tyson, shot no good, pulled down by Selland. Selin pushes ahead to Velosa on the right wing, passes up top. Selin sets and fires over Lutz. Shot no good, pulled down by South Dakota State. And pass was anticipated beautifully by Thorpe, driving down the right lane one-on-one with Volasin. Jumps into the body of Volasin and draws the foul and converts the basket. That will be Volasin's second personal foul and the team's second personal foul. Thorpe headed to the line to looking to convert a three-point play here. She had not attempted a free throw yet in this game, and she remains with 0 makes because she missed, is what we're saying. Timmer on the right wing, driving into the right elbow, finds Meyer looking left, drives down the right, has the ball stripped from her from behind, loses it out the baseline, almost taking out a couple cheerleaders. Meyer will be inbounding from the right baseline, gets inside to Selin off the right, blocks, fadeaway, step, jumper, mid-range, no good, pulled down by Western Illinois. Dietz pushing pace, hot potato with Dins in the left side. Finally ends up top of the key, Brownfield. Over to Lutz on the right wing. Takes a screen from Brownfield as she travels to her left, drives down the right lane at Volasin. Shot no good, pulled down by Tyson. 4:56 left here in the third quarter. 42-35 as the Jackrabbits drive down the baseline, losing the ball, getting the ball poked out of bounds here. Foul. Jackrabbits will have an inbound here from the right baseline. We have a timeout here on the floor from Western Illinois. As the teams head to their benches, we're going to go ahead and step away. When we return, 4:54 left in the third quarter, 42-35. Advantage South Dakota State.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back here into Frost Arena. 4:54 left here in the third, 42-35. Jackrabbits starting to put together a couple runs here. Maybe starting to put this game out of reach.
Perhaps, and that's what they're aiming to do, obviously, is they've played for a good chunk of this non-conference schedule from ahead in the latter half.
Especially at home. Inbound pass gets tipped away and taken by Western Illinois. Lutz on the right wing, picked up by Tyson. Dribbling to her left. Finds Thorpe on the left wing by Volasin. Steps into a three, little short, no good. Rebound from SDSU, tipped by Meyer. And ultimately curled by Tyson, gets it back to Meyer here. Long cross-court pass to Timmer, just in front of the bench. Gets it back to Meyer, right wing.
That'll help.
Puts it a little bit further out of reach here. Paige Meyer now with 9 in the contest. Shot just outside of the restricted zone by Dins for Western Illinois. Not able to connect. SDSU pulled down the rebound, going the other way. Volasin right wing. Jackrabbit swing it to Timmer on the left corner, just outside the flat part of the arc. Long three, no good. Pulled down by Brownfield from Western Illinois. Going the other way, looking for a teammate. Ends up in the hands of Dietz, top of the key, looking for some sort of movement. Thorpe touch pass inside to Dins. Ends up in the hands of Lutz. Lutz driving, guarded by Tyson, top of the key. Takes a step back. 8 seconds remaining on the shot clock here. Directing traffic, driving to her right. 4 now on the shot 3. Driving down the right lane. Scoop layup, no good. Didn't draw iron. Pulled down by South Dakota State. Tyson pushes ahead to Meyer. Over to Sellen. Drives to the right elbow. Harassed a little bit there. Ends up on the floor after a loose ball. Passes it to Meyer. Over to Timmer. Driving down the center of the lane. Gets into the middle. And is fouled. Number 14, Elizabeth Lutz. That will be her 3rd personal foul. The team's 3rd also. 3 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. 45-37 advantage South Dakota State. Not a shooting foul, not in the bonus. South Dakota will take the ball out the right lane. Gilton passes it way up top to Meyer. Bounce pass inside, intercepted by Western Illinois. Going the other way, Meadows for Western Illinois. Hands off to Thorpe on the right wing. Going to work on Mathewitz. Top key, Brownfield over to Meadows. Driving past Paige Meyer. Ball ends up out of bounds on the right corner. Last touched by Western Illinois. On the floor for Western Illinois, Flores, Thorpe, Dins, Meadows, Brownfield. 3 starters, 2 bench role players there for Western Illinois. 2 of them in a little bit of foul trouble with 3. Flores has 3 personal fouls, and Brownfield, both starters for Western Illinois. On the floor for South Dakota State, Mathewitz, Gilton, Nelson, Meyer, and Meyer. As the referees converge and have a slight conference here.
I think they might go ahead and look at something.
I am not completely sure what they'd be looking at. Sanchez is at our video board here, scrolling through the last possession. Maybe they're looking at a time?
Maybe.
When the ball went out of bounds? I'm not totally sure here.
And I'm not one to speculate, but it kind of looks like Kelly Turnus doesn't really know what's going on either. He's just standing there holding the ball while Amy Sanchez and John Garrow are the ones at the video monitor taking a look at something.
I saw them give a little bit of extra explanation to, of course, the professional broadcast, but I noticed a little too late when I'm unable to hear what the conversation was about here. Now we have a substitution for referees. Amy goes ahead and steps away. Kelly steps up. All 3 now step away. Seen all they need to. Just going to talk it over amongst themselves. Looks like the ball will remain in South Dakota's possession on a far baseline out of bounds.
Yeah.
Tori Nelson's the only player on the floor for South Dakota that was following the referee, so that is what will be happening here. On the floor, Mathewitz, Gilton, Nelson, Meyer, and Meyer. Nelson inbounds to Peyton Meyer, top of the key. Flores, Thorpe, Dins, Meadows, and Brownfield for Western Illinois. Peyton, top of the key, Tori Nelson. Passes Mathewitz, right side, finds Gilton open in the right corner. Long 3, no good. Gilton harassing on the pass to the point guard, Brownfield, unable to poke it away. Western Illinois pushing some pace now. Ball ends up top of the key, hands it off directly to Paige Meyer, driving down the left lane, unable to connect on the layup. Finds Gilton off Matthewitz's rebound, hands it off to Gilton, able to finish on the right-handed fast break layup. Western Illinois now sets up shop. Thorpe left wing, picked up by Gilton, driving to her right. cross cut back to the left. Scoop layup off of her right foot on the right side of the lane. Able to connect for two. 1:49 here left in the third quarter. 47-39 advantage South Dakota State. Tori Nelson swings it over to Mathewitz. Pines Paige Meyer, top of the key, driving down the left lane, takes somewhat of a screen from Brooklyn Meyer. Shot no good. Pulled down by Western Illinois. Dins hands it off to the point guards, and they go to work. Flores looking for Meadows. Meadows, top of the key, finds Brownfield. Brownfield Thorpe, top of the key, guarded by Gilton. Looking to get it inside to Dins. Does so, guarded by Brooklyn Meyer. One-on-one down low, scoop, layup, step, no good. Brooklyn Meyer comes down with the rebound on the pass to Paige Meyer. A little bit of extra confusion. Western Illinois able to pick it up and drive. Looked like they fouled by Paige Meyer on the shot, or on the possession. Will be a Western Illinois inbound from the right side of the baseline. Take a couple extra player swatches here for South Dakota State. Now in the game, Timmer, Brooklyn Meyer, Nelson, Mathewitz, and Gilton. Quick inbound and shot from Flores. Fade away from the right mid-range. Able to connect. 41-47, cutting into the South Dakota State lead. South Dakota State sets up. Tori Nelson, right wing. Gilton, top of the key. She's guarded by Flores. Driving to her right. Switches off to Meadows. Top of the key to Nelson. Fires it inside to Brooklyn Meyer. Has the ball ripped away by Meadows. Driving down the center lane. Guarded by Gilton. Gets the far right scoop layup to go on the right side. Cuts the lead. 43-47. South Dakota State bringing the ball up. Sets up in a 1-3-1 sort of offensive situation. Gilton slows it down top of the key. 15 seconds remaining here on the shot clock. About a 5-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Western Illinois playing a zone defense. Timmer bounce pass inside to Brooklyn Meyer. 4 on the shot clock. Left off the left block. Able to get the scoop layup, or the layup to go. 49-43. Western Illinois pushes pace. Shot from Thorpe just outside the South Dakota logo. Center court, no good. And we have ended the third quarter. 49-43 is your current score. When we return, we will have more action for you. The conclusion of this game as we go through the fourth quarter. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to SDSU Women's Basketball on KSDJ.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in '09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back here as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. The Spirit Squad just left the floor. SDS, the pep band, just finished playing the school song and the short version of the alma mater, the fast part, as our teams take the floor. Western Illinois with 10 turnovers to 7 assists. South Dakota State 11 turnovers, 11 assists. On the floor, South Dakota State, Mathewitz, Gilton, Timmer, Nelson, and Brooklyn Meyer. Western Illinois, Flores, Thorpe, Meadows, Brownfield, and Flanagan. South Dakota with possession just in front of us on the left side. Tori Nelson double teamed on the right wing. As South Dakota State gets whistled for, I believe, a 3-second violation.
I think so. Something of the sort. It was some sort of violation.
An off ball, something or other. 49-43, South Dakota State with the advantage. Flores, Thorpe, Meadows, Flanagan, and Dietz. Meadows on the right wing, guarded by Gilton, hands her off to Burkhart. On the top of the key, Burkhart walks and crosses over to the men's, across the men's three-point line, as Meadows is on top of the yellow SDSU logo. Drives to her left, finds Dietz, driving down the right lane, double-teamed. Gilton, Selland comes in for some help defense. Ball goes out of bounds. Referee says Gilton hit Dietz's arm as she went out of bounds, made her lose control on the shot. So that will be the first personal foul on Gilton, sending Dietz to the line. She sets and shoots and connects on her first free throw of the game, sets on her second shot and is good. 45-49, 9:16 left here in the fourth quarter. After we inbounded it, after the ball got inbounded by South Dakota State, shot clock and game clock did not start. Sanchez comes over communicating with our technical crew over here to get that clock started correctly. 45-49, 9:18 left here in the fourth. Referee turns, hands the ball over to Selland. She's able to inbound, gives it to Gilton. Jackrabbits with a little bit of extra offense on the outside of the arc here. Nelson has it on the outside, on the right wing. Quick pass, Selland, Burkhart, back top key, Gilton. Timmer left wing. Gilton left slightly open top of the key, takes full advantage for three. 52-45, advantage South Dakota State. Let's hear it, let's get loud. Graphic playing on the scoreboard here at Frost Arena, trying to encourage this crowd to get up to their feet on this close-ish game here at Frost Arena. Thorpe takes control top of the key, guarded by Gilton. Passes to her left, finds Flores. Flores right-handed dribble on Selland, gets down the right lane, runs into Peyton Burkhart and loses control of the ball. Lots of extra contact on that play and no whistles.
That's a great turnover for SDSU.
Burkhart converts, passes to Selland for the wide open three from just off center.
And it's getting loud now.
Now the crowd's getting into it here. Pep band's always been into it, but now the crowd's starting to get to their feet here as the ball gets passed for Western Illinois into the right corner, and Gilton picks up her second personal foul.
That'll quiet things down a little bit.
A little bit. 10-point lead here for South Dakota State, tying their biggest lead of the game so far. Thorpe long inbound to Lutz, back over half court, brings it now into the offensive side of the court. Takes a couple screens, ends up with Tori Nelson guarding her on the right wing. Dribbles it off of Tori Nelson's knee as she gets in the way of the pass down low. Called for a kick ball violation. Western Illinois will inbound from the right baseline. Thorpe gets it inside to Lutz with seemingly no problems. Shot blocked by South Dakota State from the three-point line. Inside ball, another missed shot from Western Illinois. Ball makes its way back out to Thorpe on the left wing. She's able to connect for three here. 48-55, advantage South Dakota State. Maya Selland drives into the mid-range. A wildly uncontested shot, no good. Shoots over 2 or 3 Western Illinois players. Thorpe driving down the right lane, straight into Drew Gilton. Finally able to turn the tide here on some of these fouls that have been called around, or at least in her vicinity. Able to draw the charge on Thorpe. Pretty easy call for the referees on that one.
I would say so.
That'll be Thorpe's first personal foul here after the charge. Jackrabbits working it around the arc here. Ends up Tori Nelson left wing, back page, Meyer top of the key. Shots no good, but there is a foul as Lutz pushes Maya Selland into the legs of Paige Meyer, which will send Maya Selland. No, we're going to send Tori Nelson to the sideline. There it is.
Yeah, it wasn't a shooting foul because Selland wasn't the one who had the ball.
I couldn't see here. We're looking around Aaron Johnston trying to figure out what's going on. Timmer on the left lane, drives into, takes the mid-range floater shot, no good. Rebound pulled down by Tori Nelson, kicks it back out. Paige Meyer to reset the offense here. Looking to her right, finds Timmer, continues to swing, Selling back to Timmer, back to Meyer. Fakes a pass left, drives, now passes left to Nelson. Shot is good from three-point range.
Again, the excellent ball movement as now Western Illinois comes back the opposite way really quick.
Yeah, that'll be Tori Nelson's first three-pointer made in 3 attempts. Now Lutz driving down the left lane, guarded by Timmer. Shot no good, kind of wild.
And a good defensive stand on the other end, too.
Paige Meyer found left wide open on the left wing, no good. Pulled down, rebound, Tori Nelson able to put the putback.
She's doing a little bit of everything here.
Puts it between 2 Western Illinois defenders, and on that conversion forces the timeout from J.D. Gravina. As the teams head to their benches, we will step away here with 6:22 to go in the fourth quarter. 60-48, your current score. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more South Dakota State women's basketball on KSDJ.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting, it was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back here inside Frost Arena. The teams are still on their benches, so we're going to give you a quick update here on Western Illinois playing South Dakota State in Illinois here. 67-66 advantage South Dakota State, 1-point game. Jackrabbits currently have the ball.
Yeah, Western Illinois came all the way back on a 19-4 run to tie it at 64 with 2.5 minutes left to go. Now South Dakota State the slight advantage over them.
There we go, 69-66. We'll check back on that game as we join back with ours. Western Illinois takes control of the ball. Dietz finds Lutz on the right wing, taking a screen from Dietz. Ball ends up top of the key, back in the hands now of Lutz, driving to her left and then right, back inside, bounce pass. Dins, shot no good around Tyson. On the floor for South Dakota State, Tyson, Timmer, Nelson, Meyer, and Sellen. Paige Meyer, top of the key, finds Timmer, double teamed. On the right side, or the far sideline there. Back to Meyer, over to Sellen in the right corner. Back Myers, quick touch pass. Tori Nelson gets it inside. Tyson, her shot blocked. A little bit of extra contact there on the arms. Not sure if that was totally arms or ball there. Western Illinois takes control, top of the key. Lutz.
As we get into 5.5 minutes left to go, the defense becomes just that much more important, especially for South Dakota State trying to keep the lead that they have.
South Dakota State currently with their largest lead of the game with 12 points. Shot from Western Illinois was good.
No, I mean, 33.
33 was the shot for 3. There it is. I can read lips. I was looking down at stat sheets as things happen here.
Yep.
Pass inside, Sellen, baseline, mid-ranger, no good. Pulled down by Timmer as she waves her arms around to get the ball inside and get the shot to fall. Call will be on 13, Brownfield for Western Illinois. That'll be the 3rd team foul as she picks up her 3rd. Timmer goes and converts the and 1. 3rd team foul for Western Illinois in the quarter. 63-48. South Dakota State with the lead. Brownfield brings it up. the court, picked up by Tori Nelson at the top of the key. McDermott from the left wing, her three-pointer good, as Timmer is on the ground kind of holding her chest, the left side of her chest, just underneath the American flag logo. And now she comes down, stays in the game, in the corner, shaking her head, trying to walk it off. It looks like Aaron Johnson leaves her in the game, doesn't call a timeout of sorts.
But you know he's going to be watching and paying attention to that.
Right, especially on the left side of the chest there, as Maya Selland drives down the right lane, draws lots of contact, lands on the left block on her back, sliding across the court. Obviously, she will be going to the line here. Maya Selland's first free throw on this trip is good. Her third make for the day. Sets and misses the second shot. Tyson pulls down the rebound shot. Pass out to Selland. Passes over to Paige Meyer for three from the left wing.
Perfectly right between the eyes. Paige Meyer hits that three. And again, the crowd gets a little bit rowdy here.
No hesitation from Paige Meyer on that shot. 4:13 left here. 67-51 is your score. Western Illinois works it inside. Dins passes inside now to Brownfield. Spinning, fading away shot. No good. Jackrabbits fighting for the rebound. Ultimately ends up in the hands of Tori Nelson. Hands it off to Paige Meyer. Top of the key. Sets up the offense. Pass gets inside Selland. Left corner. Back out Paige Meyer. Top of the key. Tori Nelson inside Tyson. Back outside top Timmer. Lots of ball movement here. Ends up in the hands of Selland in the right corner for three.
And again, that ball movement working wonders, finding the wide open person. And in that case, it results in the three.
Passes up the good shot for the great shot here, South Dakota State. 70-51, advantage South Dakota State. Lutz drives down the right lane, guarded by Tori Nelson, able to get the right-handed layup from the right block to fall. 70-53. Paige Meyer comes across half court. Gives it to Timmer. Back to Meyer. Tori Nelson left wing. Gets inside Tyson one-on-one. It's a lot of extra traffic as soon as she touches the ball. Dietz ends up on the floor. Dins also on the back of Tori Nelson. Foul is called on Dietz from the floor. Kind of similar to a pass interference, getting underneath the shooter or the receiver, I guess, if it's a pass interference.
Yep.
Sends Tyson to the line. Shooting her fifth free throw. Shot bounced off the back iron and seems to hang on the front rim for extended period of time. Ultimately falls out. Sets up for the second shot. Backspin, front iron off the glass and good. 71 points for South Dakota State. Tyson now with 2 points in the game. McDermott in for Western Illinois. Top of the key picked up by Tyson. Tries to pass it to the right to get to Lutz. Pass appeared to have been broken up by a hit on Timmer, or from Timmer. Referee says last touched by Western Illinois. South Dakota State inbounds in front of Western Illinois' bench. On the floor for South Dakota State, Tyson, Timmer, Nelson, Meyer, and Selland. Timmer from the left wing passes back to Paige Meyer for the three, straight on, no good, picked up by Timmer. Dribbles it back out top of the key, or left wing, finds Selland, back to Timmer in the left corner. Floating pass to Paige Meyer, drives down the right lane, able to dump it off to Maya Selland for two. 73-53 for South Dakota State. 2:20 left here in the fourth quarter. Brownfield drives down the middle of the lane, ends up on the left block, puts in the left-handed floater for 2:55-73, 2:08 left here in the fourth quarter. Paige Meyer, top of the key, over to Timmer, back into the left corner. Selland gets it inside Tyson, a little too strong on the shot, no good. Tries to pull down her own rebound, gets a little bit tied up with Lutz, and the foul will be called on Lutz. Will be her fifth personal. So she will have to leave the game here before we resume play. Nope, the referees are instead calling it on 11. calling it on McDermott, bailing out Lutz here, so she'll be able to stay in the game with 4 fouls. Second free throw from Tyson, no good, rebounded by Maya Selland, able to corral it, hop step to the left block, put in the one-handed left-handed shot. Quick answer from Brownfield from the left wing for 3. Score now 76-58, 1:36 left here in the fourth quarter. Selland from the right wing finds Paige Meyer, top of the key.
Paige has really been a key part in this fourth period of keeping this lead and even extending it in some cases.
She's now 4 of 7, from three-point range here, so definitely a big contributor here with her 12 points. And at this time, Aaron Johnson will take a moment and pull out his starters and replace it with his third squad here, get them a couple more minutes. .120 left in the game here. Western Illinois inbounding from the right side of the baseline. Gets out to Flanagan. Flanagan pass to her left to Meadows. Driving down the right lane. Shot no good from Adams as she hits the floor. Kolbeck driving to her left. Finds Nesheim in the left corner. Back to Kolbeck. Kolbeck top of the key. 57 seconds left in the game. 16 on the shot clock. Driving to her left. Takes a mid-range running shot. No good. Pulled down by McDermott of Western Illinois. Going the other way, Meadows. Sets up top of the key. Finds Adams. Fires over Mathewitz. Pass or shot tipped around by Mesa Biome. Able to finally pull it down. Hands it to Kolbeck. Slowly coming across the timeline. Hanging out in that back corner. 29 seconds left on the game clock. 17 on the shot clock. Driving to her right. Kolbeck with top of the key. Pass over to Nesheim. Ends up in the hands of Velasin on the right wing. Biome driving down the right side. Pull-up jumper just inside the lane. 81-58 advantage South Dakota State. Meadows driving down for Western Illinois down the right lane, guarded by Kolbeck. Extends the left arm. No foul called, and with that miss, South Dakota State pulls down the rebound, and the shot clock or the game clock expires. We've hit triple digits here. Your final score from Brookings, South Dakota, 81-58 in Frost Arena. Teams are going through and doing their high fives, showing their sportsmanship. We're going to go ahead and step away for a minute or two, collect our thoughts. When we come back, we'll have our post-game reaction and stats, and an update on any other scores that are happening in the area.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart. heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in 2 different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
.81-58 final score here. Brookings, South Dakota. The South Dakota State Jackrabbit women's team pulls out a win on Title IX Day here in Brookings. Glad to have you along with us here on KSDJ 90.7 FM, KSDJradio.com, on our YouTube channel, or the TuneIn app. Man, we're everywhere, dude. We are everywhere.
That's just the way I like it, actually.
I'm glad because it's not changing. Time to take a look at some stats from both teams. We'll start with Western Illinois, the Fighting Leathernecks. Addie Brownfield with 9 points, 4 personal fouls to end that one. Anna Dietz also with 9 points, had 4 personal fouls. Elizabeth Lutz with 10 points for her second on the team, 4 for 9, 2 for 5 from three-point range, and had 2 total rebounds, 2 turnovers, and 3 steals. Also had 1 block assist. But the leader for the Fighting Leathernecks, Jada Thorpe, number 2. She had 12 points, 5 for 11 shooting, 2 for 5 from beyond the arc, 0 for 1 at the free throw line, had 1 total rebound, finished with 1 personal foul, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, and 3 steals. So again, leading scorer Jada Thorpe for the Leathernecks. As a team, they had 10 assists, 12 turnovers. They shot 34.4%. They were 10 for 27 from the three-point range and 6 for 9 from the charity stripe. Looking at the Jackrabbits, we had 4 players in double digits for the yellow and blue. Start off with the least of those. Haley Timmer had 11. Then Peyton Burkhardt and Paige Meyer both with 12. Peyton Burkhardt was 4 for 6, while Paige Meyer was 4 for 10. Meyer had the advantage, 4 for 7 from range, but Peyton Burkhardt was 3 for 4 on free throws. And then looking at our leading scorer, Maya Selland records a double-double, 11 total rebounds, 18 total points. She was 6 for 14 on field goals, 3 for 5 from beyond the arc, 3 for 4 from the charity stripe. Again, those 11 total rebounds, finished with only 1 personal foul, 3 total assists, no turnovers, and 1 steal. Also a plus-minus of 24 while she is on the floor. So looking at the team, the Jackrabbits had 19 assists and 12 turnovers. They shot 38% from the field, 11 for 29 from three-point range, and 16 for 26 from the free throw line. The Jackrabbits' biggest lead of the night was 23 points with 10 seconds left in the 4th period. There were 10 lead changes, 7 ties, and the Jackrabbits spent 30 minutes and 31 seconds in the lead. In terms of points, South Dakota State had 15 off of turnovers. WIU had 16 off of turnovers. South Dakota State had the advantage, 32 paint points.
You can paint points, I suppose, probably.
I guess, maybe, I don't know. WIU had 20. SDSU had 31 second chance points. WIU had the advantage in fast breaks with 8, and SDSU's bench outscored WIU's 24-20. The biggest discrepancy and the biggest period really for South Dakota State, they pulled away there in the fourth period, scoring 32 points in that period alone versus Western Illinois' 15. The Leathernecks scored 12 in the first, 17 in the second, 14 in the third, and that 15 in the fourth for 58 total points. South Dakota State scored 13 in the first, 18 in the second, 18 in the third, and that 32 in the fourth for the total of 81. Well, there was a look at your total game stats. The attendance for today's game, 2,031 as counted by
that was my job.
The guy to the right.
That was my job today.
The current game duration was 1 hour and 36 minutes. Let's look at the game stats. When we come back, we'll take a look at some scores around the league, give you an update on the men's team. I'm not sure if we like what's going on over there, but we'll take a look at it regardless. We'll be back here. Nope, you're good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. We'll be back here on KSDJ Radio 90.7 FM right after this.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Walking into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I spent a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. And in '09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
81-58, the final score. South Dakota State women's basketball takes home a dub on Title IX Day, and it's about time to take a look at some scores from around the rest of the world of basketball. We'll save the one that we don't like for last. Does that sound good, Paul?
I think we'll leave that one. Yeah.
I had the wrong pot up. My bad.
Try to mute. If you don't want me to talk, you can just say so.
Oh. It's that easy?
It's that. Ouch.
Yep. Well, taking a look around the Summit League currently, we got a tight one here. Omaha, the Mavericks taking on Oral Roberts, 79-79. They're tied with less than a half a minute left to go in the fourth. The I-29 rivalry up in North Dakota, the northern of the Dakotas, 82-73. UND takes the dub over NDSU up in the Betty in Grand Forks. St. Thomas takes down South Dakota 70-64, and Kansas City loses to Denver 60-69. Looking at the men's side, really nothing to talk about other than that one, huh?
I don't think anything happened on the men's side.
Oh,
I don't
really?
Were there any games going today?
Sadly, there was. Western Illinois does beat South Dakota State 81-73. A huge run coming from Western Illinois, fighting all the way back from down 22. They went on a 19-4 run. They tied it at 64 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. They fought back, and they really outperformed the Jackrabbits in overtime. Final scores, final lines for that one. Zeke Mayo with 27 points, 6 assists for the Jackrabbits, and Trenton Massner with 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists for the Fighting Leathernecks. So they advance to 14-8, 7-4 in the Summit. The Jackrabbits fall to 11-11 overall and 6-4 in the Summit League. Let's go ahead and take a look at some scores from around the top 25 in women's college basketball. Currently, the only game that's happening is at halftime. Number 14 versus number 18. Number 14 Oklahoma versus number 18 Iowa State. That is tied at 42 at halftime. Later on at 4, actually right about now in about 4 minutes, Pepperdine taking on number 17 Gonzaga. That will happen at 4. And some final scores from earlier on today. Number 10 Iowa Hawkeyes taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers, 80-76. Iowa beats them, and number 23 Middle Tennessee beats Florida International 67-41. Taking a look at the top 25 in men's college basketball today. Quite a few more games. We'll start with the final scores from that one. Boston College loses to number 7 Virginia, 57-76. Number 15, Auburn gets upset by West Virginia, 77-80. Number 13, Xavier gets beat by Creighton, 67-84. Baylor Shireman squad takes down a ranked team. Number 2, Alabama gets upset by Oklahoma, 69-93. Number 12, Iowa State, loses to Missouri, 61-78. Number 16, Marquette beats DePaul 89-69, and number 3, Houston beats Cincinnati 78-69. A lot of upsets so far today in men's college basketball. Taking a look at games happening right now, Mississippi State beating number 11 TCU 30-20. Arkansas beating number 17 Baylor 33-27. At halftime, Hofstra losing to number 18 Charleston 44-46. Also at halftime, number 20 Miami beating Pittsburgh 33-28, and halftime as well. Western Kentucky losing 30-35 to number 21 Florida Atlantic. Other games happening today, number 24 Clemson taking on Florida State at 4. Number 6 Arizona taking on Washington at 4:30. That will be on Fox. Number 10 Texas taking on number 4 Tennessee at 5 on ESPN. Florida taking on number 5 Kansas State at 5 on ESPN2. Number 14 Gonzaga versus Portland at 6. Number 9 Kansas versus Western Kentucky at 7 on ESPN. number 22 St. Mary's versus BYU at 9 on ESPN2. Well, I think that's going to about do it for us. The leading scores for both of these teams here in our game. Jada Thorpe finishes with 12, 5 for 11 shooting, 2 for 5 from three-point range, 0 for 1 on the charity stripe. For the Leathernecks, for the Jackrabbits, Maya Selland finishes with a double-double, 18 points, 11 rebounds, 6 for 14 shooting, 3 for 5 from three-point range, and 3 of 4 for free throws. A nice win for the Jackrabbit squad. They improved to 11-0 in the Summit League season. They look to maybe have a couple things to tune up before they take a trip up north and begin their 3-game road swing as they take on North Dakota in Grand Forks next Thursday at 7, then North Dakota State next Saturday at 1 in Fargo before heading down to Vermilion the next Saturday, taking on USD at the Sanford Coyote Sports Center. Well, our next game will probably be next Thursday as the men's team will be taking on UND right here in Frost Arena. Tip-off set to be about 7 o'clock, I do believe, and so we will have that game on our airwaves here, and then also looking forward to potentially having, I do think we will be able to have NDSU versus SDSU, the Dakota marker, but not really.
the discount Dakota marker.
The discount Dakota marker. The North Dakota, South Dakota rivalry, the state rivalry, whatever you want to call it, for basketball here next Saturday. Probably going to be about either 1 or 2 p.m. in Brookings. But that'll do it for us here. Again, final score 81-58. South Dakota State advances to 11-0 in the Summit and stick with their number 1 place in the Summit League as we now are on the downhill to the Summit League tournament. So 81-58, South Dakota State gets the dub. From all of us here at KSDJ, our advisors, Jim, Helen, Brian Stemwedel, from everybody that helps us make this possible, station manager, Catherine Jones. For my partner, Paul Munson, I'm Braden Byer saying so long. Have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week. We will see you again on Thursday. And as always, go Jacks.